All right, guys. So one of you has sent me this very, very, very interesting story that is related to one of the main criticisms that have come out in the wake of this Ukraine-Russia crisis towards the U.S. military and our government, right? Particularly the branches of government that are assigned to protect us, okay? And the criticism is that, hey, you know, with this Ukraine-Russia thing happening and how hostile Russia has been, okay, to NATO, to our allies, and also China as well too, right, to Taiwan and Japan, why in the world is our military, the FBI and the CIA, why are they worried about wokeness? Why are they worried about diversity and inclusion instead of being worried about our enemies, right, and protecting our interest abroad? Okay, as if you guys remember, the CIA came out with a super woke ad that really made a lot of people cringe. Take a look.
When I was 17, I quoted Zora Neale Hurston's How It Feels to Be Colored Me in my college application essay. The line that spoke to me stated simply, I am not tragically colored. There is no sorrow dammed up in my soul nor lurking behind my eyes. I do not mind at all. At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Zora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other.
All right, guys. So apparently it's not just the American intelligence agency going woke. Also, the British intelligence agencies are going woke as well, too, as their equivalent of the CIA and FBI, I guess that's MI5 and MI6. They were being told that, hey, they need to think about their white privilege and avoid using words such as grip and strong, literally right after Ukraine cried out for help, saying, hey, Russia, Putin, they might invade us, right? An invasion is imminent, okay, according to them. But apparently they thought that this was more important, right? That they had time and resources to worry about this instead of what was going on literally in Eastern Europe. So this is what I want to talk about today. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you support my commentary, you like my commentary, you can support using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you can support the PayPal, you can support the merch. There are multiple ways to support if you would like to do so, including getting one of my signature racist mugs, which is a daily reminder of the 2022 definition of racist according to the Democrat Party, which is basically anybody that disagrees with them. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. Britain's spies are being urged to consider their white privilege and declare their pronouns as Europe descends into war. A leaked guide to improve diversity and inclusion in the security services suggests the agents should avoid gender terms such as manpower. Manpower, right? Apparently saying the word manpower is offensive, right? Incredible stuff. Spies are also advised against such words as strong and grip, which can reinforce dominant cultural patterns. And they're encouraged not to speak on all male panels. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something about having a strong grip, okay? A strong grip is important, right? Because it is a sign of dominance and strength, right? For example, you know, the guy Trump, right, that Putin decided not to invade Ukraine while he was in office. Look at this video of Trump shaking hands with Putin and tell me if you noticed something.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let's just take a moment to look. All right. Ron Brownstein.
Somewhere Allison Camerata is begging for a body language expert.
Yeah. There you
not
go.
getting enough of that. So he gave him the shake and the under.
All right, so if you notice there, right, when Trump shakes Putin's hand, he gives him a very strong grip, right, and he pulls Putin in. Okay. Now, the mainstream liberal media, they interpret that as, oh, Trump's been buddy with Putin. No, that's not it, right? Actually, what that is, that's a sign of dominance, okay? And every male should actually know that grip strength is important. When you have a strong grip, that is a sign of strength, right? That's one of the reasons why I lift weights, and one of the benefits of lifting weights all the time, especially free weights, is that you get a strong grip, okay? I've been told that my grip is very, very, very strong, okay? It's a sign of strength, vitality, and good health, okay? So when Trump is meeting Putin, and he pulls Putin in with that strong grip, that's basically him saying, I'm the alpha, right? I'm the person that's in charge. I'm running this, okay? That's what that is, right? And that sets the tone from the get-go in terms of who you're dealing with, okay? Trump's already a tall guy. He's a big guy, okay? Putin's a small man, right? So when Trump pulls him in like that, that is a nonverbal message to Putin, right? Again, the wokes interpret this stuff as, well, Trump's been buddy with Putin because Trump pats Putin on the back. No. That's also a sign of dominance as well, too. Okay, when you're pulling somebody in, you're patting them on the back as you're shaking their hand. It is like, oh, no, you are my son. Okay, you're my son and I'm the father. Okay, that's what it is. That's what dads do to their sons. They pat their sons on the back. Okay, that's what bosses do to their subordinates, right? They pat them on the back. They give them words of encouragement. That's what they do. How many times do you see a subordinate patting their boss on the back, right? How many times do you see that? It is a sign of dominance when you do that, okay? That's what it is. That's the way I interpret it. And I think that's the way a lot of men interpret that stuff, okay? And I think that people got to understand that that's important. But again, they're teaching our spies, they're teaching our national security people not to do that, right? That being strong and grip, right? That reinforces dominant cultural patterns. So we shouldn't do that, right? When it's like, no, the whole point, right, of a military, okay, or, Secret Service or whatever, is to be dominant, okay? That's the whole point. Non-dominant countries, submissive countries get dominated. They get destroyed, right? They don't last that long. It's really that simple. Strong men that are masculine are important, okay? Especially when it comes to warfare, right? Again, these people are trying to strip us of what makes us great, what makes us strong, okay? In a document entitled Mission Critical, the chiefs of MI5 and MI6 and GCHQ extol the virtues of diversity and inclusion, saying both are vital in keeping the country safe. No, it's not. It's not vital in keeping the country safe. Okay. And here's the thing. Let me talk about this because I think there's this debate about whether or not diversity is a good thing. Okay. Because some people say, oh, diversity is our strength. Right. And that phrase has been mocked. People say, oh, no, diversity is not our strength because it causes, issues with cohesion in society and stuff like that. And I want to say this. Diversity can be a strength as long as it's not forced. Forced diversity is not good. This is why I'm against the whole diversity and inclusion thing. Not because, I don't want black people, people of color to get opportunities and stuff like that. It's because when you force that on people, that creates problems and issues, right? When diversity is something that people want to do, multiple parties want to do, right? And they come together organically, that is better. In my opinion, that is a good thing. That's when diversity is a strength, is when it's organic. Forced diversity is not a strength. Okay, forced diversity causes issues and problems. Okay, but the paper has caused disquiet in other areas of government, with critics saying security officials should have been less focused on inclusion and more alert to events in Afghanistan and Ukraine. Mission Critical was written by Sir Stephen LeGrove, the national security advisor, in October and published internally on December 6, days after Ukraine warned of large-scale escalation by Russia. So I want y'all to understand. This document was published days after Ukraine was like, yo, we're about to be invaded by Russia. And Britain is like, oh, we need to be woke. Y'all need to worry more about being woke than you do a country like Ukraine being invaded by an enemy. Okay? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people say, well, wokeness shouldn't get in the way of that stuff, right? You can do both at the same time. And I'm like, no, you can't do both at the same time because first and foremost, we shouldn't be spending money on this stuff that costs resources. And spending money on this stuff and having employees focus on this stuff takes away from other aspects of their job, right? I mean, when you're working a job and you only got 8 hours of the day to work or whatever, right? doing 30 minutes or 40 minutes of diversity training takes away from 30 or 40 minutes of focusing on what the hell is going on in Ukraine or Afghanistan, right? This stuff takes up time and resources. And I don't believe, and I'm not convinced, that there's a return on investment on this stuff. I'm not. I think it causes more animosity and division than cohesion and cooperation, to be quite honest with you. In his foreword, Sir Stevens said, quote, "This toolkit is called mission critical because a diverse and inclusive culture is critical to succeeding in our national security mission." Again, I need evidence of that, right? I need some evidence of that. But a government source said there will be times where our security services have to kill enemies who wish us ill. Okay, so if that's the case, that's what we should be focused on, right? That's what we should be focused on. A culture where manpower is offensive and where pronouns are and privilege are promulgated is far removed from the deadly decisions spooks often need to take. Yeah, it is, right? It's counterintuitive. It's counterproductive. The diversity toolkit is intended to be read by officials at GCHQ, MI5, and MI6, as well as in the Office of Security and Counterterrorism, in the Home Office, and by the National Security Secretariat. In the document, a Muslim worker praises her employer for allowing her not to shake hands with men because this is in line with her religious beliefs on modesty. Oh, God, man. This is stuff they're worried about, okay? This is stuff they're worried about. And a female servant at the Ministry of Defense claims she felt humiliation when she started working there as new girls had to earn their place on the team. She said the workplace culture failed us. The toolkit says staff should understand your unconscious bias, be aware of intersectionality, the idea that different forms of prejudice can overlap, acknowledge your privilege, and consider refusing to speak on all male panels. Yeah, men can't speak up, right? Men need to shut up and be quiet. Ridiculous. It urges national security staff to declare their pronouns, to be referred to as he, she, they, or something else, to make transgender colleagues feel more included. Sharing your pronouns, if you are comfortable doing this, helps to create an environment in which this is normal, it said. Quote, "You can do this by adding your pronouns to your email signature or sharing them at the start of a slide pack." Hey, do you think that the Taliban in Russia are worried about pronouns, right? See, people on the left, they get upset and accuse people on the right of being aligned with Putin or supporting Putin when people just simply point out the fact that, hey, you know, Putin ain't worried about this stuff, right? They're not worried about being woke, okay? They're not worried about pronouns. They're not worried about diversity and inclusion. They're simply worried about their agenda, okay? And when people point that out and say, that's what we should do as well, too, they say that this is in support of Putin. No, people are saying that because we need to worry about those same things if we actually want to beat Putin, right? If we want to be a better, more dominant country than Russia, we need to worry about things that are going to make us dominant. But instead, we're worried about things that are actually making us submissive and taking away from our masculinity. That's what we're worried about here. And that's the problem. And it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that Russia is doing this right now. And the Taliban successfully basically took back Afghanistan after 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears that we put into that country, in a time in which wokeness is dominating our military and intelligence agencies, right? I don't think it's a coincidence. In a section on inclusive language, it says, in national security, look out for words and phrases such as strong or grip that reinforce the dominant cultural patterns. Avoid jargon, hierarchy, or gender biases. Another section said, consider the impact of phrases that can be negative connotations or dehumanize others. Try not to define an individual or group by what makes them different. If you need to talk about an individual group, choose adjectives over nouns. Instead of Asians, try Asian people, people of Asian heritage, or specify a region or country. Instead of the disabled, try people with disabilities and people with mental health conditions over the mentally ill. You think Xi Jinping is going to give a damn about whether or not you refer to Asians as Asians or Asian people, right? Or people of Asian heritage? You think Xi Jinping is going to go soft on you because you use soft language? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Use gender neutral language to reflect people's diversity and reduce stereotypes and assumptions, for example, about job roles and functions which need not be gender defined. The document encourages staff to read a range of books on equality issues, including those by controversial critical race theories. Kimberly Crenshaw, a Whitehall spokesman, said the report was written in October, although it was not published until December. He said diversity and integration would be integrated into mainstream core training and leadership modules. They are fundamental to the national security of the UK, the spokesman added. That includes having people from different backgrounds, perspective, and ways of thinking. Embarrassing. Again, these trainings take time. Right, so instead of being trained on your actual job of trying to protect the country, right, you're being trained on how to be woke, right, how to be inclusive, okay, how to do things that have nothing to do with protecting your country and trying to dominate the enemy. Again, it's really ridiculous, and it's an embarrassment. It really is. Again, I don't think it's a coincidence during a time of peak wokeness, we have our enemies basically being aggressive as possible towards us, the West, because the West has become feminized. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.